Hello Internet land, Xeon here. Today I'm going to talk to you about bullying, or rather life after bullying. There are probably thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of videos out there about bullying, and you get a lot of adults like me saying to kids that are bullied, report it, tell someone. But I know that that's not always possible. You might be scared to do that. When I was younger and I was being bullied, I was scared to grass up the bullies because I figured that it would mean more bullying to me. When I was a kid, the internet didn't exist, so I can't understand what it's like for young people these days that get bullied online. It must be awful because it must never ever end. At least for me it did. At the end of the day at school I could go home and that would be it. It stopped. So I'm not here as an adult to talk down to children or young people and condescend to them and say just go and report it, because I know that that's not always the easiest thing to do. I'm here because I want to let you know that there is a life after bullying. I should tell you about my own experiences to give it some context for you. As far as I was concerned, I was a normal kid until I started school at 5, and suddenly it was made very clear to me that I was not a normal child. I had a stupid name for a start. Xeon is my real name. It's the name that I've always had, so it's the name that I went through school with. I looked like a girl and I was a little bit overweight. There was a group of kids, I don't remember the kids at all now because it's a long time ago, I was 5 or 6, but I can still hear the little taunting rhyme that they used to dance around me singing it, and I can still remember that. So these things, they stick with you. It didn't help that my mum occasionally would dress me in girls' clothes, not skirts or anything, but shoes and underwear, so PE was a lot of fun. I to this day I don't know if she was on something, if she didn't realise, or if it was just some weird social experiment that she was doing. The bullying was emotional and physical bullying. Personally, I did find the emotional bullying the hardest to deal with, and it had a profound effect on me, and it went a very, very long way into shaping the person that I became, the person I am now, for good and for bad. Some of the good qualities that I have are because of the bullying experiences that I had. Also, some of the qualities that I've got that are less admirable also come from that. It will make a difference to your life. That's something that you just have to accept. You don't have to accept the bullying, you don't have to accept the words that they are telling you that you are, or anything like that, but you do have to accept that it will make a difference to you. But then all external forces do, so it's not necessarily a big deal, and you can really make the best of it. You can make the most out of it, definitely. I've never been a fighter. I'm not one that's handy with my fists or anything like that. I've very rarely in my life been compelled to punch someone in the face. I am more somebody who has used words in his life to try and combat these people, to try and baffle them with logic, which often works, or just to talk to them in a way that they didn't quite understand because maybe you were using words that were a little bit above them. That often can help. If you have a good vocabulary, or if you are good with words. I also developed humour as a way of diffusing situations. When I was a teenager and went to secondary school, which I don't know what the equivalent is these days, but I'm talking from 12 years old onwards, the bullying continued, still physical, still emotional. Again, I accepted it. I didn't like it. Sometimes it really scared me. Sometimes it would make me cry. I'm not going to pretend it didn't, like I was some sort of hard man or anything like that. I hated school. I'm not one of these people that's sitting here as an adult that's saying, oh, the school days are the best days of your life. That's absolute fucking horseshit. But I will tell you, the people who say that are often the bullies, because life tends not to get any better for them, because you actually cannot bully your way through life. And these people, they probably understand that at some point, and they might not actually be horrible people at heart, but we'll get to that in a minute. In my mid-teens, I got into metal, got into rock, grew my hair long, started wearing all the studs and the chains and things. You know, I was at a school that didn't have a uniform, so that was good in some ways, although I guess I probably had the piss taken out of me because I didn't have the right jeans or something. I developed that external wall around me that a lot of people that get into rock, goth, punk, that's part of the reason why you develop that, is to try and keep people at arm's length. And that aggressive looking exterior, it can have that effect. It does keep people at arm's length, and they start to think, hang on a minute, what's going on there? The real change for me occurred, I think I was about 15 years old, and my school did something called a pop mime. And all of a sudden, this thing went off in my head, and I volunteered to do it. I did a Def Leppard song, Pour Some Sugar on Me. And my act was chosen to show the school, it's quite a big school, about 1,500 kids, what the pop mime was all about. And I tell you what, that very first performance in front of a crowd changed my life in many ways. For a start, it was, you know, fucking hell, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. But secondly, the people that bullied me all of a sudden saw me in a completely different light. To this day, I still don't know what that is. Either all of a sudden I made some sense to them, so they left me alone, or they developed some respect for me, or maybe it was a bit of fear. You know, I don't know how I came across on stage, but obviously you do come across as a larger-than-life character on stage. And then I left school and I left home, and I used that as an opportunity to become the person that I wanted to become. I was still overweight, so I lost weight. I taught myself about diet and exercise and healthy living, and have maintained that ever since. My natural hair colour is brown, so initially I bleached that, so I was white blonde hair for a while, and then it went to black. Like I say, I just developed into the person that I wanted to become. Quite often, when I was out and about, after leaving school, I would actually bump into the bullies, and they used to talk to me like I was a normal person. And this confused the shit out of me, because when I was at school, they would never speak to me like that. So it got me thinking, and I came to realise that there's a reason why they did what they did, and it was a hell of a lot less to do with me than it was to do with them. Now, they might have been abused at home by parents. I'm not talking like sexy stuff up the bum. I'm talking physical abuse, like maybe their dad hit them or told them that they were useless, and they just kind of are passing on that aggression down the line because they don't know how to process it at that age, because you know, you don't. They might have been showing off to their friends to try and become the leader of their little pack. I don't know, that's not something that I didn't feel the need to make somebody else look shit to make me look good. But perhaps if you don't have many skills or talents, or you don't actually really genuinely feel that you are up to much, then maybe that is what you have to do. Maybe that is your skill and talent, is beating up a littler kid. Once I understood what these people were, and these people were getting at me because of the way they were and not because of the way I was, they couldn't bully me anymore. And no one has been able to bully me since. I wouldn't let them. If dickheads want to write shitty things about this video down in the comments bit, I'm not going to let them. I'll just fucking delete and block them. I'm not going to let them affect me. I'll just delete and block them. They can go and hassle someone else. And that's how I have lived my whole life ever since school. I just haven't let people bully me. I just won't tolerate it. Now, I went on to do some interesting things in my life. I started bands and all of that sort of thing, and have spent 20 plus years in the music industry in one way or another. I tell you what, I'm gonna say this. Everyone that bullied me that I'm aware of, not one of them has done anything of note. What have I done since 2010? And I'm gonna reel it off now, just as an example. 2010, wrote and recorded an album with a legendary heavy metal rock producer. That album was then signed to a label that he started off with another legend in the music field, and they released that album. I've played at a really prestigious festival in Germany and toured around various European countries and Britain, and played festivals in other countries and in Britain. I went ahead and I conquered a lifelong fear that I had. I had a fear of flying, and I'll probably do a video about that at some point actually, because I went from having an absolutely crippling fear of flying to like zero fear. So I will do a video on that at some point in the future, because that might help people. Through conquering that fear, I've been able to travel to places that I always wanted to go and travel to. Seeing something like the Colosseum in Rome, to me, was just such a massive, life-changing event. Through the band, we got asked to be in a film, so we did that. And then I decided that I would write films myself, because it looked like a lot of fun. And I did, so I wrote a couple of screenplays. And then in 2013, I actually wrote a screenplay and then co-produced it and co-directed it and co-starred in it. It's not been released yet because it's a long old process doing that, but fucking hell, I made a film. How many people can say they've done that? And I'm not talking like a 10-minute film, I'm talking hour-and-a-half long film. It's pretty good as well, I think. Comedy horror film, Meet the Cadavers, go check it out, meetthecadavers.com. Well, you'll just be able to check out a trailer, unless you're watching this in like 2 years' time or something, and then the film might be out. Who knows? Because of that film, we went to the Cannes Film Festival. I've had a couple of Porsches, including one of my dream cars. Not hugely expensive. Most people that drive cars could afford to buy one of these. I'm not talking about an £80,000 car or anything like that. But it was still something that a lot of people, for whatever reason, they don't do. Been lucky enough to move to a different part of the country and find an amazing house to live in an absolutely amazing location. If the lighting's just gone funny and I've shifted from one bit of the sofa to the other, the battery ran out and I've just charged it for half an hour so I can finish off this video, because I was right near the end when it ran out. There's the smellyourmum.com company that me and Vikki started in 2004 or something like that. We still do that. I started another company, Quirkabilia, where I buy and sell unusual items and antiques and things like that. I've written a book and am partway through writing another 2 books, one of which I'm hoping will be released later on this year, so keep an eye out for that. Last but not least, ZVTV. It's early days, it's only been on for about a month and we're learning as we go along, but we really want to make this something. Obviously, that's with your help, so please subscribe. So there you have it. There's not much else to say really. Try not to let them get you down too much. I know it's really hard at the moment if you're being bullied. There are thousands of people out there that will tell you and can help you with regards to that. But there's not too many people out there that let you know that once it stops, once you become an adult, once you move on, life can get better. You don't need to be a victim your whole life. Just know that those people will probably go on to lead a pretty shitty life, or one without much excitement at least. And the reason that they're picking on you is because there's something a little bit different about you, a little bit special about you. You could be creative, artistic, whatever it is, and you will put that to good use and you can really do something with that. And those bullies, one day they'll find you on Facebook or whatever the equivalent is, and you can do exactly what I have done. You can have a look at their lives and you can go, you know what? Fuck you, because I won. And that's what it's all about. If you've got anything to add to that, anything you'd like to say, if you want to tell me your experiences, then please do that below. I hope this video has helped and given you a little bit of something to cling on to, just knowing that it will get better. It really, really will. The future's not written yet, and it's down to you to start writing that future now. Because you can make changes, because you don't have to tolerate these people. You don't have to have them in your lives. just know that the reason that they're getting at you is because there is something special about you. All right? I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.